Are we ready? Are we ready for some space news? Because I hope you're ready for some space news, because that's what we're doing next. All right. And thank you again for all of your patience. I know today was a little weird. But yeah, I'm glad to see you're all ready for some space news. Puck, are you ready for some space news? Speak. Speak? What? Really? You guys are just going to look at the Cheerios? Tinker, speak? Why don't you guys talk when I want you to talk? There was an attempt. Anyways, Cheerios for the dogs. All right. So, and of course somebody honks their horn. So, if you haven't done this with me before, here's what's going to happen. I have some space news stories for you. You are more than welcome to ask questions during the space news stories. Please at me with your questions so that when I do scroll up after I'm done, I can find them easier. And if I can't answer it, somebody in the community can, because you're all just that awesome. I do need to make sure that I am off stream at about 2 o'clock. Otherwise, we're just gonna have dogs freaking out and small humans walking across dog cam, which my nephew would love, but he doesn't quite understand how CosmoQuest streaming rules work. So, yeah. Good! I'm so glad! I'm so glad you did your free spending map. Anyway, so yeah. Go ahead and ask questions. Keep it science related. Other than that, there's not really anything, anything else. So yeah. Let's get at this, shall we? So, let's do this. Fix my glasses so there's no glare, which I know annoys Fenmil. Alright, so, first story I have up for you is, first of all, there's an image on the screen, and it's a lot of streaks and a few bright spots, and darkness. So it kind of looks like somebody just took a photo and did a whole bunch of creases in it, and like an accordion fold, or did a lot of parallel lines, streaking marks on a astronomy image, or astrophotography image. That's not what this image is. This is... The streaks are made by satellites. The white lines, the streaks, are made by satellites, and this was supposed to be a astrophotography image and or observational data collected by a satellite, and this is what it looked like. So this is a statement from auroraastronomy.org on the StarLink constellation of satellites, because it's StarLink that did this. Alright, so here's what they have to say. In the days since the Starlink constellation launched and deployed with a somewhat unsatisfactory dump, the internet has been filled with debate on the good, the bad, and the actually ugly of having thousands of tiny satellites providing our planet with internet. This week, 2 prominent astronomical organizations have begun to chime in, and we'd like to take a moment to share from their statements. Oh, that's not actually the statement. That's our intro to that. Okay. I didn't write these slides. So. Alright, so now the statement from Aurora, which stands for Association of Universities for Research in Astronomy, which is the consortium that runs most U.S. national telescopes, their statement follows. We note that the launch of Starlink system may have impacts on the observational capabilities of these facilities. One facility is the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope, otherwise known as Lima Sierra Sierra Tango, under construction by the NSF, National Science Foundation in Chile, and slated to begin wide field imaging of the sky in 2021. LSST will create an astronomical survey that depends on dark skies for its core science. LSST frequent imaging of the same region of the sky will be a mitigating factor for the Starlink interference, providing enough uncontaminated images to reject the images that contain satellite trails or other anomalies. In the case of the full constellation of Starlink satellites, initial calculations show that LSST images would, on average, contain about one satellite trail per visit for an hour or two after sunset and before sunrise. Very conservative upper limit on the number of LSST pixels affected by Starlink satellites is about 0.01% and quite likely smaller. Therefore, for LSST, even a constellation of about 10,000 Starlink satellites would be a nuisance rather than a real problem. We emphasize, however, that the impact of satellite constellations on other aurora telescopes that have wider fields, longer exposures, and or less sophisticated data processing pipelines may be much more significant. Furthermore, Starlink may be only the first in a series of new technologies that could impact LSST in other ground-based astronomy. So that's Aurora's statement. And now here's the statement for the International Astronomical Union. The scientific concerns are twofold. Firstly, the surfaces of these satellites are often made of highly reflective metal, and reflections from the sun in the hours after sunset and before sunrise make them appear as slow-moving dots in the sky. Although most of these reflections may be so faint that they are hard to pick out with the naked eye, they can be detrimental to the sensitive capabilities of large ground-based astronomical telescopes, including the extreme wide-angle survey telescopes currently under construction. Secondly, despite notable efforts to avoid interfering with radio astronomy frequencies, aggregate radio signals emitted from the satellite constellations can still threaten astronomical observations at radio wavelengths. Recent advances in radio astronomy, such as producing the first image of a black hole, or understanding more about the formation of planetary systems, were only possible through concerted efforts in safeguarding the radio sky from interference. Oof. Oof. So those are two of the statements that have been made, and I really can't comment on each. I know a lot of people have proposed just a wait and see approach, and a lot of people are like, this is terrible. And images like this, this is in the visible spectrum, are kind of make it clear that this can be quite terrible. Yeah, data processing can remove some of that, but some older observatories don't have that data processing pipeline. Ooh, that's a whole lot of words. So, yeah, those are the statements. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyways, next story. So, this. What the heck is this? Alright. This is a story that somehow hasn't been talked about nearly enough on this show. Did you know folks are working to design tiny helicopters that can fly in the super thin atmosphere of Mars? This is a challenge because helicopters beat their propeller against air to generate lift, and the air on Mars is so thin that even low-lying areas like, really? Planetia. I'm sure I've not pronounced that right, but it looks like Planetia. Planetia? Chia. Have an air pressure equivalent of being 30 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. Oh my goodness. At the peak of Olympus Mons, it's more like being 60 kilometers above Earth. Oh, wow. Here on Earth, this is the above the altitude helicopters do not go, and only spy planes and test planes with pilots in pressure suits consider these heights. So yeah, we're trying to build tiny drone helicopters for Mars. The current model was tested in synthetic Mars environment in Welcome to live streaming. Give me one more second. I'm not sure what's going on. Do. I heard a car door. Okay, so where were we? No, tiny humans are not early. That was favorite human coming back with breakfast and coffee. All right, so where were we? Okay, we were talking about helicopters on Mars. So yeah, we're trying to build tiny drone helicopters for Mars. The current model was tested in a synthetic Mars environment in January, and now NASA engineers are working to see if they can mate this flyer to the belly of the Mars 2020 rover. This is a proof of concept vehicle that carries no science instruments, but does have a camera capable of providing high resolution color images to further demonstrate the vehicle's potential for documenting the red planet. Future Mars missions could enlist second generation helicopters to add an aerial dimension to their explorations. They could investigate previously unvisited or difficult to reach destinations such as cliffs, caves, and deep craters, and act as scouts for human crews or carry small payloads from one location to another. But before any of that happens, a test vehicle has to prove that it's possible. And no, I don't know what it has to do to overcome the challenges, other than they're testing it in the equivalent of a really thin atmosphere. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You might as well say hi now.
Hello. To my mom.
All right, tell your mom I said hi. Tell your mom chat said hi. Love you. Bye. Live streaming. All right. So no, I don't know what they have to do to make it possible to fly. In the really thin atmosphere. They're testing it, and that's why we need a test vehicle on Mars. So this is literally all I know. I apologize. So, yeah, we're just gonna keep rolling. We're just gonna keep rolling. All right. So, next story isn't so much like a news story, but just a holy crap, check out all the cool stuff. So, those of you that watched out our Hangout-a-thon marathon watched me build this in the background. This is image up right now is the very expensive but very awesome Saturn V rocket Lego set that had a teeny tiny lunar lander in it, as well as the command module, as you know, in recovery mode with the little safety ring around it and the flotation device and da-da-da-da-da. So, why am I showing you this? This model's been out for at least 6 months, maybe over. I think it's been a year now. So why am I showing you this? So the Apollo anniversary is starting to bring us a wealth of cool stuff that will require a wealth of money to provide. So again, this is the Lego Saturn V, but now there's also a Lego Lunar Lander, and this set's a little bit more affordable than the Saturn V, and it's not as huge. The Saturn V is like a meter long at least. It's huge. It's huge. It's very awesome, but huge. This one's much more manageable, and this one's a little bit more affordable at around $100 US. And yes, this is the one that we're talking about building on stream as either halfway to being done with Benu images or done with being Benu images. So yes, it is Lego. It is Lego. It is amazing. I am excited. It will be here soon. This will be built on stream. So this is one of the things. Also, it comes with a little patch. It comes with a little patch if you're a Lego VIP member. Anyways, so, yeah, there also, I don't have an image of this, but there's also going to be a new Apollo 11 documentary directed by Todd Douglas Miller that consists solely of archival footage, including 70mm film that was previously unreleased to the public and does not feature narration or interviews. Wow. Lots of archival footage. Some of it the public's never seen. Not a whole lot of narration or interviews, just here's a whole bunch of really cool footage. This is going to be a must-see. I am really excited. And another one, it's some people were able to see it in the theater. That's amazing. I don't even know what it's called. It's there. So another thing to commemorate Apollo 11 and all of the lunar missions is that friend of the show, Nancy Atkinson, also has a new book called 8 Years to the Moon. It's available on Amazon. I don't know if it's for pre-order or if you can order it now. I don't remember when it comes out. I apologize. Yeah. So, yeah, this is not the same Nancy that's usually in chat. This is a different Nancy. But yeah, Nancy Atkinson is, has this new book that's available. And one other neat thing that Dr. Pamela found was these shoes on Etsy. These shoes are available on Etsy. It's amazing. They're Apollo 11 shoes. I can't remember how much they were. But yes, you can even go on Etsy and get Apollo 11 shoes. Yeah. It's pretty freaking cool. And of course, here at CosmoQuest, we have our own line of designs over on Redbubble, and this is one of them that has a lunar lander right on Mars, and I believe Austin created this. So, yeah. We got moon stuff too. So yeah, that is all of the news I had for you today. I unfortunately do not know the name of the documentary. Apparently there's two different versions. There's a full 90-minute one, and then there's also an IMAX cut, which is 45 minutes. But, as RefMat says, it's IMAX. So yeah, Spaceware is incoming. Or Spaceware ideas are incoming, as Sucking Cat says. So, while I scroll up and look at your questions, I am going to... Hey, Stoneheart Boy! You missed all the news. You missed all the fun. I am literally doing questions right now. So as I scroll up and look for your questions and give you time to ask more questions, I am going to remind you that this has been a production of CosmoQuest. We stream Sundays through Fridays at... I have to think about this. 1700 hours UTC. That's 1 p.m. Eastern. When the time inevitably changes, just remember 1 p.m. Eastern. And our host institution is PSI. That's Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, Arizona, working in collaboration with Youngstown State University here. And I don't think it's actually raining today, Youngstown, Ohio. So yeah, I think I've reached the top of the question. So Jay asks, is there a global body that controls satellite launches? And DPI says no. RefSmat pulls in controls isn't the right word. Sock and Cats asks if coordinates is a better word, and it's RefSmat points out it's sort of covered in the Outer Space Treaty, which is a whole lot of words. Yeah, I don't actually know a whole lot about the politics of, like, internationally putting stuff in the sky. I just know about what's required for American companies to put stuff in the sky. So, yeah. RefSmat says, so if Jim Space Corporation from Jimland causes a collision in outer space, Jimland is in some way liable for that and is responsible for prosecuting Jim Space Corp. Alrighty then. Talking about the star trails, DPI says it will be especially bad, or not star trails, the satellite trails. It will be especially bad for amateur astronomers since they don't have the data processing capabilities needed. Correct. The things that the pros use and software packages that pros use, even if they are free, are sometimes difficult and tricky to use, especially if the data is not in the right format. FITS is kind of the universal format for astronomy data, because astronomy data in FITS isn't always an image. Sometimes it's a spectra, and sometimes it's a really boring image where you're like, but what's here? But you can get metallosity and stuff like that out of it. I tried to color one of those images and it was pretty boring. It was a pretty boring image to look at, but they were able to pull cool data out of it, so there's that. Hanny's asks, how big is that in relation to human being? How big is that Marscopter in relation to a human? I don't know. I apologize. There's I don't think, I'm going back now. I don't think that's mentioned in this, and the best I can do is give you the news link, and maybe you can get an answer from that. There's the news link for the Marscopters. Hanny's asked, don't scientists usually like their pictures in various shades of black and white? It's usually black and white with filters, and that may or may not be a possibility here, so I don't know. I'm just used to dealing with images in grayscale with filters. I have no idea how long battery life is, none of that. I know zero things about the Marscopter other than it's a thing. So, Susie adds, I love this being the Lego Saturn V model. My uncle had a Saturn V model he made when he was little. That's adorable. Saturn V wasn't that expensive. Still about 120 euros or dollars. You want to? I'm gonna look at this right now because I looked at this earlier and I remember it being expensive and going, oh heck no. Yeah, I take it back. It is $120. So my problem was that because it's so large, I don't have a place to store it. Plus, I don't have a place to store it or display it without a cat knocking it over. Quite frankly, I don't. And as much as I would be like, I'd love both, I am still reconciling the fact that favorite human agreed to spend $100 on Legos, because that is more than I've ever spent on a set. They are both amazing sets, but I feel like I can display the Lunar Lander and keep it safe in comparison to the to the Saturn V, because it's huge and my cat is a jerk. My cat is a jerk. If I didn't have a cat, I could safely display it on my mantle, but I would need to keep it safe around my cat. I'd need to put it in like a display box. So, and yes, the Lunar Lander is out already. It was released on the 1st. I think I'm almost down to the end. And yes, I guess the documentary is out. I don't even know the name of the documentary, Bad Panda Bear. I am terrible. I feel like I'm terrible because I don't know all the answers for you guys. Ironheart asks, is the Marscopter being built to go with Mars 2020? I don't know if it was specifically for that, but yes, it will be mounted on the underbody of Mars 2020. And yes, Hanny, that is one of the plans, that we can explore caves, because that would be amazing. Does Youngstown University have any kind of spacey stuff like a giant telescope or anything? Youngstown has a free freaking planetarium that not enough people come to. We have this amazing planetarium that is free and open to the public. I don't think we're running any... We don't typically run shows, like a lot of public shows, over the summer. We will be running public shows for Festival of the Arts, which I don't remember when that is, but if you Google Youngstown State University Festival of the Arts, you can find it. But yeah, it is free and open to the public Friday, Saturday nights at 7 or 8. And there's a Saturday afternoon family show, which is great for all ages, that you can, bring the whole family to. We do tours for school groups, and if for whatever reason you have a small child and you have them in the middle of the week during the school year, I need to emphasize this, during the school year, there is always the very, very slight possibility that you could go and sit in with a school group and watch their show. So, yes, there's that. Okay. But yeah, that's what Youngstown has. We don't have a giant telescope. We have telescopes, but they're not giant. Youngstown has a lot of light pollution, plus the observatory on the top of the science building isn't actually like stable, and the whole thing like wobbles and you can't get a good image. So, but we pull out the solar scope at least twice a year, and we used to take the solar scope, I don't know if we still do it, to the Canfield Fair, and I have fond memories of trying to convince total strangers to look at the sun through a telescope, which, yes, is safe as long as you're using a solar filter. All right. Yes, Annie, why don't you know anything? The SD's Saturn V is under $70 US. That's actually pretty cool. And somebody asked, speaking of the devil, that may have been the dog. That is indeed the dog, the white fluffy dog. Hey, Puck. Puck. Fluffy. Fluffy. Yeah, see? That's Fluffy. Come here. Come on. Come on, let's show you off. Come on. Can you do it? Oof. Here, how about... Ready? 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 1, 2, 3. Oof! Okay. Wow, we managed to do it without knocking my glass over. So this is Puck. He is a white Spitz. The cat has not made his presence known today. And Tinker's laying in her crate. Yeah, I know, you smell food. I have all sorts of food on my... Hey, that's mine! That's mine. That's my lunch. You're not eating my lunch. But yes, this is Puck. And there is indeed a cat. He's just hiding. Yeah. So, here comes larger than you think. He is indeed larger than what most people think. Because the camera does point down on him. Oh. Your fur's a little tangled. Yeah, we need to brush you again, huh? So, oh, look! You get bits! You get hand-hit bits! And the cat... Do you want to eat bits out of my hand? Aw, look at that. Was that good? There's 3 more. Do you want them? Or do you want the special treat? Oh, you just want to lick my face. Aw. Alright. More? There you go. That's a good boy. Yeah, he does love me. Yeah, the cat sounds like a baby crying. He does sound like a baby crying. And he's probably, bits for spits. I know, right? You are such a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are the bestest boy. Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. All right. So, I'm going to put him down, and then we're going to finish up. All right? We'll finish up, and then we can sit on the couch and wait for the tiny humans. Or a tiny human. All right. Fun fact, tiny human is 1 month older than Tinkerbell. So, he's not really tiny. He's just a small human now. All right, so, yeah. I think I answered all the questions. Sucking Cat says, now I feel lucky because we have 2 observatories. Or observatoriums? Usually they're called observatories in English. Or maybe planetariums. And no, the dome on a planetarium does not open so you can see the sky, so you can see the stars. Some people think that. But yeah, if you're in the Youngstown area and it is during the normal university school year, please, stop by the planetarium for a visit. I don't work there as much anymore, so you probably won't see me. But if you let me know ahead of time, I can be there. The shows are indeed free and open to the public, but please donate. So, I love that Word Beecher and CosmoQuest are aligned because you don't need to pay money to enjoy the science. But it's one of those things that if you can afford it to offset, our costs, that's amazing. And another really just great thing that you can do, especially for us at CosmoQuest, is just tell your friends about us, tell your family about us. Be that annoying person at parties that's like, did you know there's 5 toilets in space and humans don't even have access to one of them? I am that annoying person at parties. So, but yeah, follows are free, hanging out with us is free, Discord is free, telling your friends and family about us is free. Yeah. And I like having new faces around, it's nice. And yeah, our Discord is pretty much open. You can see a lot of stuff if you don't agree to the rules, but please agree to the rules and you can be more of an active participant in the Discord server, which is always nice. It is nice to have new friends in the Discord server. So I think that's all the questions. Any ideas of who to raid? Because somebody's got to have ideas of who to raid. Otherwise I have to be super, super uncreative and pull something. Wow, my straw is invisible. Raid someone who's doing Bennu mapping. Do we know of anybody doing Bennu mapping? If you're doing Bennu mapping right now and you're streaming, I need to know about it. Oh. But no, I don't know of anybody that's doing Bennu mapping. Today was a really long stream today, guys. Thank you for all of your patience. I really do freaking appreciate it. I will also be hosting on Monday. So, yeah, you will see me again on Sunday. And you'll see me again on Monday. I hear my dog bark against something, so small humans might be here already. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick, and we might just raid somebody while I'm rolling the credits. So speaking of credits, I'm going to get those ready. So yeah, thank you for being awesome. I'll see you again on Sunday. Rhyolite is streaming. Perfect. We'll raid Rhyolite, because Rhyolite is definitely a friend of the stream. And Rhyolite is awesome. So, we're going to roll the credits and raid Rhyolite. So, have a wonderful insert time of day here. Continue being awesome to each other, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy your Friday night. Bye!